For once, a successful trip to the Moose. Hey everybody, welcome to Mainly Movies. Today we're taking a quick detour from movies to focus on music, specifically the albums I picked up on Record Store Day this year. I do usually try to grab a Blu-ray or two while I'm at Bull Moose, but my vinyl haul was more robust than typical, so I put my money towards just that this year. For those who don't know, Record Store Day is an initiative to support independent music stores that's occurred every April since 2008, with obviously an exception a few years ago. I used to go every year, from 2013 to 2019, but I only started going in person for it again last year. I always go to Bull Moose, even if it's just their online store, which is fitting, because they were the ones to come up with the idea and wrote the proposal for the original Record Store Day. Each year, a number of exclusive records and singles and EPs are released, but usually in pretty limited quantities. So it's always a mad dash to try to grab what you want, and inevitably you're not going to get everything, so you just have to hope you can get it when they post the remaining stock from all the stores online the next morning. When I got to Bull Moose early Saturday morning before they opened, the line outside the store was already wrapping around the corner of the shopping plaza. It was cold and rainy, and there were over 100 people in front of me in line, so I was not very optimistic about my chances at getting anything that I wanted. The doors opened and it was a chaotic free-for-all in a very condensed part of the store, but somehow I managed to come away with almost everything that I wanted. I focused my efforts on the LPs, so I managed to get all of those, but the singles were completely picked over by the time I got to that table, so no luck there. But I did manage to snag a few non-RSD exclusive albums while waiting for the checkout lines to die down, so I still came away with plenty of vinyl. Alright, I'm gonna break this haul up into 3 sections, and I'll have timestamps for each of them below. First, I'm going to talk about the non-Record Store Day exclusive albums that I picked up, then I'll talk about the Record Store Day freebies they gave out this year, and then finally the 2024 Record Store Day exclusives. So, kicking things off with the non-Record Store Day exclusive items, the first album I've got here is Bad Religion's debut album, How Could Hell Be Any Worse? So again, not a Record Store Day exclusive, but still pretty exciting for me because I like Bad Religion. In fact, last year, I believe it was Record Store Day last year, I picked up another stray non-exclusive album of theirs, The Process of Belief. Neither this or The Process of Belief are my favorite Bad Religion albums, but this one's pretty good. I think I like this one a little bit more than The Process of Belief. But this is their debut album, right? So this has a much rawer quality to it. It's more... Their style has transitioned a lot over the years. This first one, when they were very young, it was more hardcore punk, and eventually they kind of developed more into punk rock and other kind of offshoots of that. But this one is definitely, the production quality's one of the worst of theirs, but not horrible, just much more lower quality. But I like them, and of course, when there is a colored vinyl, so this is the limited anniversary edition colored vinyl. So obviously, you guys know me if you've watched any of these, you know I'm a sucker for colored vinyl. And so, the color here is not what you might expect. So it's kind of a translucent, smoky color. I was anticipating it being red or translucent red, but this smoky style color is pretty cool. So I've got another Bad Religion album here. Next up is an album I adore, and that is The Clash's first album, their eponymous self-titled The Clash. So this came out in 1977, first Clash album, and amazingly, the first Clash album I own on vinyl. I thought I had London Calling, so I'm kind of kicking myself for not also picking that up when I was there, because they had it, but just for some reason, I seriously thought I had London Calling on vinyl, because that's one of my all-time favorite albums, but I didn't. But now I've got at least one, my second favorite Clash album. Really good. I opened it because I thought it was colored vinyl, but it's not, so there's nothing fancy to show you. But it's what they call audiophile vinyl pressing, so it's 180 grams, a little thicker. But great album. Clash, again, one of my favorite bands. And this first album just has so many good ones. Career Opportunities was one of my first favorite Clash songs, so that's on this album, as are another like 10 or 12 other album or other songs that I love by this band. So happy to finally have a Clash album on vinyl. Alright, so moving on to the freebies here. Each year, I imagine all the stores do this, all the record stores that participate in Record Store Day, but at least Bull Moose always has some sort of grab bag of just random little free things that they give out. Last year, and a number of years that I've gone in years past, they ran out before I checked out, so I didn't get anything. But this year, I actually got the full array. A few of these things you'll see are a little water damaged because it was pouring rain, and so they got a little wet on the walk to the car. But I always like to show off the Bull Moose bag, which, again, really shows you how much it was raining with how wet this is. But the Bull Moose bag, always entertaining, but that's not anything special for Record Store Day, just what they put all this stuff in. So, a couple things here. They have apparently a program or like a touring record store crawl, and this is just a little pamphlet advertising that and trying to vote for your own town to become the next in the lineup. So it's like, what do they call it? I don't know. There's like a specialty. Oh, People's Choice. There we go. People's Choice. Unfortunately, it's one of the days I'll be at TIFF for movies next year. So even if Bangor gets Record Store Day or Record Store Crawl or whatever this is, I won't be here for it. But that would be pretty cool. Next up, we've got just a magazine, Goldmine, the Music Collectors Magazine. Never heard of them, but they've got some interesting articles. Again, pretty water damaged here. But I haven't had a chance to really read it yet, but looking through some good stuff, and of course plenty of Record Store Day advertisements. Next, a couple stickers. So I've got a BCW sticker here. Just a general Record Store Day sticker, so go play some records, you'll feel better. I like stickers, but I never put them on anything, so I just have like a drawer full of stickers, but these two will join it. We've got a little bit of water damage on this. Let me try and clean that up. A little pin here, so one of these. So it's Paramore Record Store Day Ambassador 2024. So I guess they were the ones that were kind of the figurehead this year. So that's kind of a neat little pin that will join that drawer of stuff I never do anything with, but I like it. So the last two things here are posters. So this first one, I imagine, went out to all Record Store Day participating stores. So it's kind of this psychedelic monster looking thing. So Dogfish Head, apparently the official beer of Record Store Day. But again, kind of a pretty cool looking poster here. I don't know what I'll do with it, but I like the look of it. And then, last but not least of the freebies, is the Bull Moose exclusive poster. They always do a specialty design just for them. And so, this year, pretty cool looking. At last, the Cosmic Groove. So we've got, a little astronaut, cosmonaut here with the Bull Moose antlers, which is pretty cool. So I don't know, it's random, it's weird, but it's very Bull Moose, and I like it. So that's the free stuff this year. Okay, so now the 2024 Record Store Day exclusives. I want to start off by quickly talking about the stuff I wanted but couldn't find. Like I said, the only things I didn't manage to get were the singles. So there were some 3-inch singles by the Beatles. I saw her standing there, I Want to Hold Your Hand, She Loves You, Until There Was You. I'm pretty sure my store didn't even have these in stock to begin with, which was probably for the best. They're really cool, but they were each twice as expensive as other 7-inch singles, and I don't even have a record player that can play 3-inch singles. The only other thing I missed out on this year was a Slater-Kinney 7-inch featuring 2 bonus tracks from their newest album, Little Rope. So this translucent red vinyl has This Time and Here Today on it. I'm pretty sure my store had this one, and they were just all picked over before I got to that table. Didn't know Maine had so many Slater-Kinney fans. Alright, so moving on to the stuff I actually picked up, which are all LPs. We're going to go through these alphabetically. First up, we've got the Amboy Dukes' Journey to the Center of the Mind. So this was the band's second album, released in 1968, and it's a pretty good one. I'll admit that I've never listened to it all the way through, at least not that I can remember, but there are a handful of Amboy Dukes singles songs that I listen to quite a bit that I really enjoy, including Journey to the Center of the Mind. So when I saw this was getting a Record Store Day exclusive, I was kind of excited. So this is psychedelic rock, a little bit of acid rock. Really good guitar. Actually, Ted Nugent, of all people, was the guitarist, the lead guitarist for this band, before he kind of went off and did his own stuff. But pretty cool to have this one. But we've got some colored vinyl, and we also had an interesting thing. They, if you didn't, I didn't mention it, but Record Store Day was on April 20th this year. And they really were trying to play that up, that particular date, for this album. So as part of this packaging, they included rolling papers, which say Journey to the Center of the Mind on them. And when you open it up, there's like more lyrics and stuff like with the papers. So that's unique. But colored vinyl. Oh, I don't even have to take it out of the sleeve because it's a clear sleeve. So it's kind of this like turquoise color, but they call it, sorry, I blocked the microphone there. They call it hookah glass colored. So I don't know. Somebody who smokes hookah can tell me if that's actually hookah glass colored. I thought they were just all sorts of different colors, but we've got this light blue, translucent kind of teal thing going on for the Amboy Dukes. So next up, we've got a little bit of a different kind of album. So this is Orca, the original music or the score for the movie, the 1977 film starring Richard Harris and Charlotte Rampling. And of course, the score was composed by Ennio Morricone. And so this is not actually mine. I did pick it up, I did buy it, but I picked it up because a friend of mine was really interested in it and asked me to, because he wasn't able to brave the crowds on that rainy morning. And so I was able to get the last one, but it's already open because he opened it and we looked at it and he agreed to let me include it in the haul video. So thank you, James. But very cool. Very cool packaging. It's part of, they call it the Real Cult series. And so it has colored vinyl and a really cool poster that I'm going to show you. So the colored vinyl is, what do they call it? Blood in the Water colored. So that's pretty fitting, I would say. But we've got Blood in the Water color. I'll hold it like this so you can see the whale as well. So Blood in the Water color, and like I said, I do want to show you the poster, which is pretty cool. So poster and liner notes. So pretty extensive liner notes, but the coolest part is the poster. I mean, that's a pretty cool poster. I don't know what else to say about it, but kind of regretting the fact that I didn't pick one up for myself, but there was only one, so James is getting it. Shifting gears a bit here, we've got Groovy Ghoulies. So the Groovy Ghoulies are a punk rock band that were around 80s and 90s into the early 2000s that I really enjoy. This is a band I have I don't have any albums on vinyl, I have all of their albums on CD over there though. But this is sort of a big compilation kind of thing. It's a double LP here. And so, let's see, so it spans 40 years. And on the first record, it's sort of a greatest hits collection. Basically, they took one song from each of the band's albums and each of their major EPs. And so they created like a track list, greatest hits kind of thing from that. And then the second album is some more solo stuff by the lead singer, Kepi Ghoulie. And so it's not really solo because most of these are featuring other artists, but it's not Groovy Ghoulies as a band. It's him and other punk artists. So pretty cool. I don't know. I've never seen Groovy Ghoulies like on vinyl ever anywhere. So I was like, oh, it's a little expensive, but I'm gonna grab it because I like the band. And of course, there's some colored vinyl to show off. So first, let's see, first part of the LP is this orange, so not translucent, just a regular opaque orange. And then the second vinyl is opaque purple, which I can't get out more than that, but you can see it. So it's kind of basically the same color as the main part of the album cover. But Groovy Ghoulies, a groovy pickup. So keeping in line with the grooviness, we've got a 60s album here. So this is The Birds, the Bees, and the Monkees. So this is the 5th album by the Monkees, released in 1968, and one I enjoy quite a bit. I like the Monkees a lot. This isn't my favorite album of theirs. I like some of their earlier ones a little bit more, but this one does have my first Monkees song on it, Daydream Believer. That was a song I used to listen to a lot when I was a pretty young kid, and that was always the one I associated with the Monkees. And this album has that song. So when I was like, oh, record store day, Monkees, you know I'm getting it. And another contributing factor that I'm sure everybody can guess already, we've got colored vinyl, and they call it translucent coral. So kind of a unique one. And another unique aspect of this isn't like a remastered version, this is mono. I don't think any of the other 60s albums that have gotten over the years, the decades of record store day, or just in general, have been mono. So that's kind of nice. Yeah, sometimes I actually kind of prefer that for these older albums, especially since that's how they were, originally recorded, how they were meant to be heard with the techniques that they had available at the time. So Monkees. Okay, so next we're switching gears back to punk with The Offspring. So this is a picture disc, so it's got images on both sides. So this is Splinter, the band's 7th album, released in 2003. So again, it is a picture disc. I usually don't get picture discs, just because I don't like to play them because I don't want to scratch up the artwork, and I'm always really concerned about that. So I usually stay away from them, but it is The Offspring. I love The Offspring, wearing the shirt. And this album in particular, I've got kind of a nostalgic connection to because it was my first Offspring album. I know this is not one that people enjoy as much as others. I probably like it a little bit more than the average person and the average Offspring fan, but there's not really much on Splinter that I don't like. So happy about that. And this is actually my second Record Store Day exclusive Offspring album. Back a couple years ago, probably more than a couple now, I think 2017, they had a Record Store Day exclusive for the first album. And it was like a translucent blue colored vinyl. Not picture disc, but figure I'll keep the collection going of these RSD exclusive Offspring albums. Okay, so next up we've got another style of album I don't tend to pick up, but I did, and that's a live album here. And so we've got The Replacements, so this is Not Ready for Prime Time, live at the Cabaret Metro, 1986. So I love going to concerts, but live albums, listening to them at home, it's not the same, and I'd prefer to listen to the studio version in most cases. But I did want to pick this one up. The Replacements are kind of very well known and kind of notorious also for their live performances. Sometimes really amazing, supposed to be like a crazy experience, and other times not so good, with Westerberg being extremely intoxicated. But I imagine that this version, or this concert, which was recorded during the Tim tour, so this was like January 1986. I imagine that this one is one of the better ones if they're releasing it as a double LP like this. But because this came out on or was recorded during the Tim's tour, they only had 4 albums at this point, including 2 of my favorite albums by them, Hootenanny and Let It Be. And so it's a double LP, there's like 30 or so songs on here, and I was looking at the track list earlier, and there's a ton off those 2 albums that I love, including my 2 absolute favorite songs by The Replacements, Take Me Down to the Hospital and I Will Dare. And so plenty of that, plus the other 2 albums, Tim and Sorry Ma Forgot to Take Out the Trash. So no colored vinyl, I didn't bother opening it because of that, just regular black vinyl here. But it's going to be an interesting listen, because it's a lot of songs that I listen to a lot and love the studio versions of, so I'm looking forward to listening to their live equivalents. And then finally, we're back to punk, or kind of staying in punk. The Mats are kind of punk, but we've got Unwritten Law, their first album, 1994, Blue Room. So this is a 30th anniversary release. It's a band I like, an album I like. It's, you know, neither are ones that I absolutely love, but I do like anniversary editions. I do like punk. And of course, colored vinyl, which is what really intrigued me. So I will say, I'm not disappointed, but I didn't get quite what I anticipated with this, because it was advertised as navy colored vinyl, and I was like, navy? Man, like I don't have any navy vinyl, so I was kind of excited, and I'm like, oh, it's good. So I'll pull this vinyl out here. You're gonna see this is not navy, but it's still very blue, but definitely not navy. But I would say for Blue Room, this color, this kind of royal blue, works, but not navy blue. But I won't complain too much. I do like regular blue as well. And again, very fitting for this particular album. Alright, so that was my 2024 Record Store Day haul. This year didn't feature many exclusives that I was really excited for, but it still turned out to be possibly my biggest and most successful in-person Record Store Day haul ever. What about you guys? Did you go out for Record Store Day this year? Let me know your thoughts and all of your pickups in the comments below. Alright, so if you got some enjoyment, insight, or information out of this haul video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit that like button, and if you haven't done so already, please hit subscribe while you're at it to see more videos like this, as well as movie reviews. Till next time, this has been Alyssa with Mainly Movies, the way life should be.